And so I'm still going to do a five. Yep. Hi, everyone. Ben Goldman here from 180byTwo. We're going to wait here in the onset a few minutes to let everybody come on. But we're very excited to have you hosting this poolside chat. Manny, so how you holding up, just to kind of get the juices flowing here? How you holding up in this world today?
All good, Ben. Good to see you. I know it's nice to meet in this context as opposed to that quick little 2-minute phone call you and I seem to have. We get right into it. You're busy, I'm busy, but it's a more casual chat. This is great.
Well, it's actually sometimes you just text me, and you're on the West Coast, so usually it's this quick text message of, "Hey, I got this client." So yeah, actually, I got to know you a little bit better through this experience. So this has been great.
Yeah, no, it's a great thing you're doing, by the way. I'm sure more and more people are trying to figure out LinkedIn Live and how to have a different kind of experience for not just the folks who are talking, but folks who are listening. So yeah, it's great.
I do appreciate that, and you're right. The reason why I started doing these in the first place is that I kind of started looking around and I saw a lot of people doing LinkedIn Lives, but I didn't find people doing them in our industry. I didn't find them talking about programmatic and data, probably because it's a very complex topic, which it is.
Yeah.
But I know so many experts like yourself, Rob and Tom, and there's so many great experts in the space that have an overwhelming amount of knowledge. And in this time, I know you're always on the phone with clients trying to spread that knowledge. I'm always on the phone or email trying to spread that as well. And I think this is a good forum to do it with.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Yeah.
I actually have to get my notes that we worked on. So pardon me for 1 second.
Sure.
So yeah, you're obviously in California. So you have two boys that you talked about earlier. They're home from college right now.
Yeah. So I got two boys. The older guy, he's a CS senior at UT Austin. He's taking a break. He's back here and doing a little bit of. He's trying to learn a little bit of data engineering. Actually from one of the best teachers he could find, which is actually turns out to be my sister. She's pretty good at data engineering. She's a pretty seasoned data engineer, from eBay and LinkedIn Marketing Solutions and a bunch of companies. So she's trying to teach him a little bit of that. And then I do have a younger guy. I should probably mention him too. He's he goes to a small school. One of the best teachers he could find, which is
so he must be very proud. Like data engineering and in our field, I'm like, so is he looking for an internship by any means?
That's kind of where he's at. Yes, he's learning the craft, and then he's hoping to land an internship. He's helping us out a little bit while he gets going. And the younger guy, like I said, he's an undergrad in business. Just finishing up his second year at a small school called Angelo State. ASU. It's about 3 hours from Austin, right? And so he's headed in the direction of being a sales guy. Maybe inside sales dev. B2B. Who knows? We'll see what he does. Yeah.
Well, this is obviously not on topic, but you brought up something that I'll say is I think right now, and being the chief revenue officer at 180, I can speak from experience. There is a definite need not only for good sales people. There's always a good need for that, but good sales engineers. Good ones that can interpret between what the salesperson is trying to sell or trying to offer a client, and the ones that can talk to the product and actually deliver that vision. Those are invaluable. So if he's definitely going down that road, I think that's something that's a shortage, always a shortage on, and good technology companies need. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
But having them home, actually, I think I just talked about this with Tom. So I have 3 small kids.
Right.
And right now I'm just trying to balance between teaching them, between my wife and I, and work. Yeah. You have them home, and you probably haven't seen them in a while, and probably haven't been a while to have them in close quarters. How is that?
I gotta say, it's an interesting experience. I mean, there's the positive side of it. As you said, dinners are together, we're hanging out, and it's nice to see them. See their faces, as opposed to, hey, Dad. We get a text message once in a while, so that's good. Um, but then I think those guys are going through their own little cabin fever thing. It's funny. I mean, my older guy, I see him, you know, having this live friendships all virtual through a tool called Discord. These guys get on and play games. I mean, it's crazy. It's a whole different world than I guess what I grew up in.
I agree. It's funny. I don't know if you've done this, but I just read an article. If not, no secret that people are doing Zoom happy hours. I just did my first this weekend, and
Yeah.
there are a lot of games. There's a lot of these drinking games that I remember from my youth in college that are being digitized, and Jack in the Box being one that I played recently. And it's fun. I get it. Again, it's
Yeah.
the way we can interact with people. It's awesome. It's a
Yeah.
great marketing opportunity.
I think so. I mean, the whole world, I think people are adapting to this strange world we're in at the moment.
Absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
so I think we're going to get into it here. So again, to everyone who just kind of joined us and been monitoring everybody's questions, and it's good to see everyone. My name is Benjamin Goldman. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at 180byTwo, and I'm with Mani Iyer, at the CEO at Kwanzoo, a very interesting and very innovative marketing technology company that really focuses on ABM, which has made them perfect for this discussion here. And they focus on something called adaptive ABM. So to kind of start our discussion, what is adaptive ABM, and what does that mean to you?
Yeah, so I think you're right, Ben. Maybe let me take a step back, just talk about ABM first, right? Because as you know, ABM really, in my from what we know, it's all happened in the last few years, right? So 2015 is when there was one company, Demand Base, used to talk a lot about account-based marketing ABM, and then a bunch of players jumped in, and ABM as a category started to come together, and then that's when at Kwanzoo, we've been in the game, right from the start, and we got into it. And traditional B2B demand gen has been primarily leads and all about leads and getting people to fill out a form. And you know how the world has changed with hardly anybody fills out a form these days, right? So you really need to understand the buyer and the buying group and the buying team at different companies, like a B2B company may be targeting, well before they fill out a form, right? And so, and then also the way marketing used to do their jobs was about, hey, let me put some ads out on this website. Let me, it was almost like spray and pray or some level of targeting, but the targeting was never very precise. And, in terms of reaching and engaging your buyers. So now ABM has become this quote, an approach or a process to do very targeted, account-based, account-centric, even marketing programs, marketing tactics, very much aligned and supporting the sales team, the sales organization. So that's ABM, right? So now adaptive ABM, the way we think about it at Kwanzoo, we think one of the fundamental problems, is with a lot of these ABM companies that have come up, all in the last 4 years has been they go into these, companies, B2B marketers, and they try to throw a lot of technology at them. So I call it, they try to be like an all-in-one, right, solution for account-based marketing. And honestly, that's not what customers want. Customers are trying to do more of what I would call just plug into the technology they already have, uh, not rip or replace anything that they may be using. And so it's so adaptive in the sense, let's adapt to their existing marketing and sales process to bring in ABM, account-based components to it along the way. Let's plug into their existing technology stack and only bring in the little bits and pieces they may really need, right, to make that ABM process work. And so it's the process, the technology, and the data is a key part of it. It's the data, folks like yourself at 180byTwo bring, and I'm sure we'll be talking more about that, right? So the data is a key part. So I think of it as process, technology, data, and the marketing programs to drive demand, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Also, to kind of take a quick step back, I mean, to remind people why they even need ABM,
Yeah.
and the use cases. I mean, I'm sure most people who might be on this are very savvy, but I mean, ABM typically is used for, trying to move that middle of funnel from leads you might have generated at a conference, or leads you're getting from your demand gen team, and you're looking to kind of either identify, you've already identified those companies being in market using intent, or you just know you want to push them down. And account-based marketing is the tactic to really dive into those accounts and reach them from all the various channels. Is that really the use case that you see most of your clients coming to you with for ABM?
So first of all, you're right. I mean, the way we think about it is ABM. First, people need to be clear. ABM is a B2B tactic, right? If you just think very top level about companies, you're trying to reach and engage, buyers, prospects. You've got to be a B2B. You're selling into businesses, number one, right? Number two, from what we've seen, ABM seems to work best, or better, I should say, when you're targeting slightly larger, mid to large organizations. In the SMB space, we do see some ABM in use, but you got to be much more careful because it really comes down to the ticket price of what you're trying to sell. And so as a salesperson, you're in B2B salesperson trying to sell, if the ACV, the annual contract value, is 20,000 and up, it's easier to kind of make the case, the business case internally to your management. Hey, I want to do ABM strategies, ABM tactics with all of my marketing programs, because the ACV value is high enough to justify the investment, whether it's in some technology, whether it's in the supporting data, so there's value that guys like us can bring, guys Ben, like 180byTwo can bring to those kind of customers. So to me, that's where it starts. The other thing you brought up very interesting is, is ABM top of funnel, mid funnel, lower funnel? We think of ABM as a full funnel tactic, right? Full
Exactly.
funnel need. I mean, they need it at the top of funnel to, first of all, even figure out what accounts the salesperson should be going after in the first place, right? So that's really top of funnel. Hey, who should I be talking to? Which companies, which prospects, which buyers, which buying groups? I got these 5, 10 salespeople. My universe of target accounts is several thousand. What should each of my reps be working on this week, right? Important question, hard to answer. So you need a lot of pieces to come together to make that happen. So that's a top of funnel, but we've seen lower funnel tactics. Lower funnel meaning, hey, I already have these active opportunities in my pipeline, right? What can I do to speed up the process where they're going to take my third meeting and then bring in the whole team and then they're ready to go? Can I speed up that whole process of making a decision around my product? Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. No,
Yeah.
absolutely. And now I'm going to segue into solving that problem in the world we live in today. I think to state the obvious, people are no longer in the office; they are at home.
Right.
They're trying to get work done, and ABM is still just as useful. The overall strategy is still there. Just the way you go about it has to change. To get a little technical, one of the ways that many companies attack ABM is using the IP address tied to that business, and then targeting them that way. It's a very cookieless way of doing it. What are you doing now to help reach these people and not reduce scale? I think one of the things that that's being talked about is ABM. Did it ever have scale? And now, does it have scale?
Yeah.
So what do you think about that?
Yeah, so great question, right? I mean, so we very early on, we realized that it is important to offer customers the ability to target through different kinds of targeting data, right? So we don't just target potential accounts and buyers of those accounts through IP alone. We do offer IP targeting in certain global countries and geos where made reach may not be available. Made as of course, is mobile, application IDs.
Either Android or Apple. I'm glad you brought that up because that's
right. Yeah, correct. So either using maids or using cookies, and obviously we'll get into a discussion about third-party cookies, first-party cookies. That's a whole separate topic. But third-party cookies are where as it's cookie sets aggregated about different companies, people in those companies in terms of their seniority, in terms of their job functions. Are they in marketing, sales, IT, finance? So being able to assemble pool a little audience of relevant cookies and then being able to target them with ads, but more important to report on who engaged, right? Who clicked on the ad? Was it from somebody from Cisco, somebody from Netflix? Who engaged on the ad? What is their seniority? Are they VP of IT? Are they a marketing director? That's the information that salespeople need. It's got to be really actionable, right, for the salesperson. And to your point, I think since the whole topic here, okay, what is ABM? Is it relevant in today's world? This strange world we're in. The answer is absolutely yes. We're seeing that with many of our customers. They are redeploying funds even from things like, they unfortunately they're not able to do live events this year. So live conference and event dollars, we're seeing a bunch of that moving online for online and digital strategies and tactics. And then the next important question for them is, hey, these are people sitting at home. Can you still reach them, right? And the answer is yes. How do we reach them? We go beyond IP, right? And they're sitting on a home computer. The IP doesn't map, it says Comcast.net. It's not telling them Cisco.com, right? So then we have to use other IDs. And as you mentioned, maids are one. And then we have all these third-party cookie audiences are another that actually have been tagged with the companies they work for and their seniority and their job function. So that's
That's
exactly right. And the
100% right.
reports are super, super valuable for those salespeople to now know, hey, who should I be talking to? Who should I be reaching out to?
I mean, that's 100% right. And I think the interesting thing for 180by2, and to throw us a little bit of a bone, is that like there are a few different ways to get maids and other IDs to an ABM list. A lot of them are probabilistic. I mean, not to say you can easily take a list of IPs, try to take it to a tap ad or another company and get extension, and that is a viable way of doing it. At 180, we are one of the ones that, and you know this, that deterministically have put maids tied to a company and the professionals that work there through the way we use movement data. And it's kind of been our secret sauce and our way of proprietary understanding at ABM. And, for us, this has been not really, the use case wasn't for this type of incident happening. The use case has always been, we want to try to reach and do ABM across various channels. And to do that, you need to understand the consumer and the B2B facing side. So you can get them on CTV or interact with them in MarTech and AdTech. And deterministically tying a company's, a person who works at a company to a maid, doing it in the accuracy has always been a very important thing for us. Right now, because we're mobile first, we are having a phenomenal time still keeping in touch with our ability to target people at a given company. And I think I'll start now to kind of go down this road with you, Manny. I know we planned for is that we did it originally because we kind of saw the world of the cookie crumbling, right? Of the Google, the announcement they made. And I mean, that and privacy rules, the maid was going to become a very important identifier for B2B. And understanding that, you don't necessarily need to use third-party cookies. You can use first-party cookies that a platform might have and keep and have the license to do so. But if you have the ID, now on the 180by2, we've created our account link ID, which is our company level ID that then gets tied to the maid and the IP and everything else. That allows us to speak to every platform and channel with a unified voice or unified ID. And Mani, I know you've been always intrigued by our story here because you feel very passionate about an ID, a company level ID, kind of resembling what Identity Link has in LiveRamp on a consumer level. We are trying to do that for B2B, and that is important. Do you agree?
Yeah. So look, I mean, I think if we take a step back, Ben, this whole area, as you know, is super, super complex, right? I think maybe we should just take a step back, start with the basics. To me, the basics are that think about how different platforms and tools describe an account. The basic B2B concept of what is a company, what is an account. You go into the sales system that a sales rep is using or an SDR. In Salesforce, an account name, right? HPE Inc. is the account, right? That has to be unique. Now you go into something like, a lot of the third-party audience data providers, and obviously 180by2, I know we all partner with, say, somebody like a Blue Kai. Same thing there. The domain of the company, like hpe.com, ends up being the account. Now, the problem is, and you know this, is for the marketer and the salesperson, they want to drill down to a particular site or a particular department or division or line of business within that account. I mean, Verizon is huge, but I want to focus on
Enormous.
Verizon's, right? Verizon's, over the top TV business. But then I got to get down to a particular, line of business, maybe in, a particular state in the US. Now, unfortunately, the data has not been organized in a consistent way from, what is being, managed in these third-party data system like yours, right, or the next data provider. And then on the Salesforce side by our customers, we're the guys caught in between, right? We're the guys trying to activate these audiences for our customers to deliver on their objective, which is I want to get to that Verizon division that my rep needs to focus on to close business around that product. So we've been feeling the pain. And so we actually kicked off, and there's a good friend of mine, Jay Fumiko, and we put together the site. We call it the OpenCX Alliance.
Yes.
So if you
Speak about this.
if you go to if you go to opencxalliance.org, it has been put together as being a mutual benefit alliance for all providers, all vendors of different pieces of marketing and sales and ad technologies to come together, solve some of these tough problems for B2B. We're not trying to, solve the world's problems, right? We're trying to solve the specific problem of having some kind of a common account ID and then a common B2B buyer ID that all of us can agree on. And it's going to work, right? No matter which piece of technology, which intent data provider is serving up account data for us to munch and consume and build these prioritized lists and give it to our customers. And man, I was with this customer and we've been helping this customer recently. They have 4 different intent providers. And the data.
Manny, you still there? Uh-oh. Having a little technical difficulty. I'm going to give him a second to come back here. But he was actually going to be talking about a really interesting and passionate point for him, is that he does want to kind of see the proliferation of a account link. Sorry, I'm going to call it account link ID because that is what it is to 180by2. But having the industry agree upon a ID at a site level that that can help for ABM, and that's what account link is, and that's what we're trying to have it become. And Mani is a big advocate for account link and working with the OpenCX in that regard. We lost Manny for a second. Hopefully he'll sign back in. I am going to finish up actually with one other kind of note we wanted to kind of talk about, and about ABM in this world, and how out of all the tactics, I think it being a cross-channel, the importance of ABM being cross-channel, and Mani was going to talk about how Salesforce in the MarTech side, ABM is very important, and then we're the guys stuck in the middle that are trying to take that MarTech information and bring it into AdTech. And just targeting the right companies is one thing, but one of the other things we really wanted to talk about, and I'm hoping Mani comes back on here, is the reporting of it. And at 180by2, I think we've tried to solve for the problem of reporting at a company level, leveraging the mobile ad ID. And that's one of our big differentiators, is not solely having to rely on the IP to do company level reporting. It is just as important to target the right people, individuals, but it's also important to actually report onto them and understand which companies are getting the right impression, so that you can then understand the media metrics later on. And that's where, honestly, Kwanzoo and 180 really have synergies there, because Kwanzoo has a special tool, which if Mani was here, and I'm going to try to re-invite him and make sure he comes back on, because this is the stuff that he really is passionate about, and Kwanzoo really excels at. Is that tool that shows company level reporting at a granular level, and taking if you look at the whole pipeline where you're taking data from a Salesforce system, using a 180by2 in one of our solutions like a Unify that then can onboard that data and then send it to a DSP like Manny's to targeting, and then using the tools that he has and that we've set up with him to then report. It offers a full funnel and a full cycle. And one of the questions we got that I want to answer before I do sign off here is CTV. And is CTV a viable tactic for ABM? And right now, I couldn't say with more louder voice, yes. ABM is a great tactic to be doing on CTV. It's one of the reasons that at 180, we actually have CTV IDs tied to our account link ID. So along with the mobile ad ID and the IP address, so that we can reach professionals on that channel. So absolutely. So to the person who answered that earlier, the answer is yes. The beauty is it's a matter of what inventory you want to choose to deliver on, whether using Teleria, Index Exchange, or some of the others, SpotX. We work with partners that can either get us that CTV ID or we've actually stitched that together ourselves. The last thing I'll say is that there is a partner that both Manny and I work with called LeadRing. That is, we just both trained, and we actually talked with the sales team just last week and got them all trained up. And one of the things that organization is really good at is taking companies who use Salesforce and cleaning up their Salesforce system. And then they're trying to create an exchange that allows data providers like us to then interact with them. And I think anybody who uses Salesforce right now, I call you to, and if you in general want to activate your data, and in addition, if you work with LeadRing, I would give your rep a call and see if there's a way that 180by2 can help activate your data that lives in your Salesforce or Marketo or Eloqua, and then we can activate that in a platform that, I think he's going to join us again. Oh,
hey, bye.
Okay. So I'm not going to lie, I kind of was going to wrap it up a bit, but I'm going to have you go through the thing that we wanted you to talk about, which was I kind of sped things up a bit, and I kind of said, hey guys, targeting a company is a big deal, but like everything else, reporting at a company level efficiently and being able to do that is tricky. So I'm going to tee you up here to kind of talk about how you handle company level reporting and I was just told everybody already that 180by2 is one of the few that can do company level reporting using device IDs instead of just IP. So
take
it away.
Sorry about that, folks. Had a glitch with my computer. It never happened before. Anyway,
no worries.
So we look. I think we need to solve a few problems, right? Challenges between, as I said, all the different vendors around connecting the account first, right? Make the account ID sync up. I think then we have the B2B, what I call the B2B buyer ID. So within the account, the individual buyers and buying groups, and we have to report on that too in a way that's useful for the salesperson, while we are kosher and compliant with all the regulations. I'm talking GDPR and CCPA and CAN spam and on. The list goes on. But if we can make that viable, and we believe the right answer is give enough insight on the account or the company and the seniority and the department of the buyer and the location they're coming from, and then allow a jump out or a redirect into LinkedIn Sales Navigator or Discover Org and all the different contact research tools for the rep to go find the person, because you've narrowed them down enough without kind of crossing the line into PII, right? So that's honestly where we've done a lot of work ourselves, a lot of innovation around that. And I think I was mentioning to you, we have just recently introduced this Salesforce UI for the individual SDR or BDR or rep to be able to get that level of actionable insight. So I think connecting the account information that we get from our customers for targeting purposes with the account insight on the post-campaign impression data, click data, and then even on their website, all the website page view data, right? All those pieces need to be linked to make that report be interesting, useful,
Make it
actionable,
actionable. Yep, there you
make
go.
it actionable. And then in a large organization, I've found a lot of the problems are, the vendor hasn't kind of thought about scale in terms of being able to reach these accounts at global scale, because
Yep.
a lot of these organizations are not just targeting these companies in North America, but it's in EU and UK and EMEA, APAC, LATAM, ANZ. We're running a program for now for a major global brand, and it's across Japan, Korea, Singapore, India, Australia, New
Wow.
Zealand, and the rest of APAC. So interesting challenges, right? Right away. Being, can you make it work here? Can you make it work there? Can you make it work around the world? And then can you understand reach before I even start? Now I started serving ads. Now can you tell me what's actionable? And then what is actionable for me for each individual rep? Because you know what? You as a sales guy only cares about the products you make money selling, right? You don't want to hear anything about all the noise about, on your company's website, there's 50 products that they're selling. You want your report to speak to the 5 products or 2 products that you're selling, right? So mapping accounts to, products, products to reps, reps to, actionable insight on engagement on ads, engagement on their site. I hope I'm making sense. I mean, these are all the
Oh,
parts
I
and
mean,
pieces.
absolutely. I mean, you're
Yeah.
going into the details that I think we get into on a daily basis with our clients. Apologize,
Right.
my dog barking in the
Yeah.
background. Just the things we deal with in the Corona world. But no,
Right.
you're getting into some of the nitty gritties that I think you and I both get into on daily on our
Yeah.
calls with clients.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hope we're not speaking too far above many of our viewers, but
Yeah.
These are fundamental problems. Going global with ABM in the world where we are kind of trying to draw the boundaries of
Right.
what's compliant and what's not.
Yeah.
Those are things that are a moving target. And I think you can only set yourselves up for success. And
Right.
I know you and I are both always talking. I think us being as nimble as we are, as
Yeah.
small as we are, as
Right.
forward thinking as we are on the
Right.
cutting edge of what's being done. And I think that's why I think we partner so well together, is because we're always thinking, hey, what could we be doing that helps the client outside of the walled gardens that exist? And
Correct.
I'll kind of tee up, and maybe this is a topic I think I want to take on to another week. But how many walled gardens and how many clients do you talk to? And not to call out demand based, but others, demand based and other managed service platforms where they bring ABM, they bring it in
Yeah.
house.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't have to be that way. A client can do it in house or do it
Mm-hmm.
with a partner and do the pieces they have, and not have to have such lack of transparency. I think the transparency is what is lacking. I'm gonna go
Correct.
let my dog into the house real fast.
No, so I think, yeah, Ben, I'll just chat about talk about transparency, openness, open platform. Uh, I think, yeah, that's a great topic.
Yeah,
So I think,
honestly, that is what that is what is missing. It's missing the transparency, the little
yeah,
things that obviously they feel that they have to give you, and they can only give you if they sign up with you. And there are things that as we both know, that we have to do and we have to manage on our end, and we are experts, and not everybody can trade. And doing programmatic trading at a high level is not always easy. And that's why we do have those expert traders on our end to take a lot of stuff off.
right,
But there also is some things that a client can take on, like your reporting tool, where they can actually see in real
right,
time the results of things, and then they can look at their sales force and then say what
yeah,
accounts are my sales reps actually calling on with this information that I have. That
mm-hmm.
is important, and that's key to the whole process working. If that doesn't exist, then ABM cannot deliver the fruits that it really should.
Yeah. So look, I mean, Ben, if you think about the way we think about our business, right? What we are honestly trying to do is be a layer that connects the pieces, right?
Exactly.
We're back to the same old where we started with adaptive, right? We're saying you have a heavy investment in marketing technology, sales technology, advertising technology tools and platforms, maybe through an agency partner. You may have the large media agencies that have all the ad tech you need as a large enterprise. We are just the guys plugging it all together, kind of connecting the dots, right? And bring that open platform, openness, transparency to all the reporting and the underlying data and insights. What are the different data sources we're using by global geo? What kind of is it really working? Is it really working? So for one of the other interesting things we've been innovating around is what I call cross verification. Can I make sure that the ad that was served to that account really did land in that account? Did the buyer who clicked on it and filled out a form and come into my database, is he or she really from Cisco, like the third-party vendor said it from Cisco? So you got to connect the third-party information, like cookie data, with first party. First party meaning what's filled in that form and ends up on their website and ends up in their marketing database, right? So there's, I think the challenge, as you know, for us, Ben, is we do a lot of different parts, but making it simple and easy to understand from a value standpoint is certainly, I think we all have. That's probably one of our challenges. I'm sure you'll agree.
I couldn't agree with you more. And one thing I'll
Yeah.
have you do, and I was already talked about this where you were offline, is Lead Ring and how they are helping us both kind of get into that Salesforce and help clients that use them for normalization in MarTech, and how we
Right.
two ad tech guys, well, again, I wouldn't call us ad tech guys. We're both kind of, bridging the gap as we've talked about. But I
Right.
think maybe historically in our past, we've been very much in the ad tech space. Working with companies like Lead Ring and Demist and AWS and maybe the others, these are important relationships. So I know you
Right.
feel strongly.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think you probably, I think you mean Ring Lead, right? I think
Ring Lead,
just to be
sorry.
clear. Yes, yeah. No, the Ring Lead is a great partner for both of us. Ring Lead is one that where we think they have a very interesting solution is, as you know, on the customer side in terms of their CRM data and for kind of the data for targeting, meaning account data, which is first party data, account data, contact data. Uh, there are so many data vendors out there, and so Ringlead does a great job of helping them rank order different pieces of data they can get, source from different vendors. It's almost like a data quality management is a problem they're trying to solve. And we know that they have, some 700 odd customers. So obviously, it's a real problem. Many customers want that problem solved. So to your point, what they're doing something that's very interesting is the data exchange, where uh, at Kwanzoo, we built out this, what we call an engagement data feed, which is literally a feed of every action, every prospect from every company that this company is targeting with advertising, and then also bring it to their website. We put it all together in a timeline view. So you literally have a timeline of who's clicking on these ads, visiting the site from which company, and what was the creative, what was the message they clicked on, what pages did they visit on the site, right? On to, did they engage in a live chat? What was the chat interaction that happened on their website between an SDR and the prospect, and have that become visible later on to you as the sales manager, right? So we've built a timeline view by buyer, by company, and that's the one that actually we have, put into the link Ring Lead data exchange. So any customer can take advantage of that as another unique type of data relative to all the other data that's out there. There's so many kinds of data that a marketer can work with. Right, Ben?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you for correcting me there. So I do truly appreciate you coming today, and I hope you obviously come back and we can talk more.
Yeah.
You have a wealth of knowledge. I really do appreciate that.
Yeah, hopefully not confused anybody, with an overload. But yes, I think we're in an exciting space, ABM, and I think it's a real problem that a lot of marketers are struggling with, how to do it well, how to do it right. And yeah, that's something we spend a lot of time on every day. Thank you for having us, Ben.
Absolutely. And everybody, do more of these soon. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay safe. And see you soon.
See you soon, Ben. Bye, everyone.
Bye.